Good morning. We are here at day 2 at GameHole Con 2022 here in Madison, Wisconsin at the Lion Energy Center. Hey, Dallas.
Hey, how's it going, Mel?
Thanks. Good.
Good.
Are you awake yet?
Yeah, starting to.
All right.
He's had coffee now. He's a little more awake than he was.
Who's this
2 shots
disembodied
of
voice?
espresso.
Who is
Yeah.
this disembodied voice?
Okay, as we're doing this is not just a promo for GameHole 2022.
You
this
can
is
come
us.
on camera, you know.
This is us testing the microphones because we've got a busy day ahead, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
We have got a ton of great interviews lined up for the day.
Yes, we
so definitely you'll check those out on this episode. And
Why are we even here?
I don't know.
Well, you did the introduction. Wow, thanks so much. Also, so you don't do this with the microphone.
I like the microphones.
All right, so we're gonna
We
dive in.
look forward to seeing you online and in person if you are here at GameHole. Please stop by. We'll hit you up with a beer. We'll talk to you. We'll do crazy things. So we look forward to seeing everyone here at GameHole.
Hi, I'm Dallas. I'm with Guys, Games, and Beer, and I'm with...
This is Larry with Guys, Games, and Beer, and we are with...
Rob, who sometimes works for Gooey Cube.
Well, what is Gooey Cube?
Gooey Cube is an independent publisher, mostly centered around Colorado Springs, Colorado. And they have put out a massive campaign called the Red Star Rising Campaign. And they are surviving because of Kickstarter that allowed them to survive past COVID.
So the Kickstarter's already done then?
Well, they launched Kickstarter in 2021, and it's a big one. It had a number of books promised to it, extension of their campaign. And as of this moment, they are nearly done wrapping it up and looking forward to the future.
Oh, okay. So I'm used to kind of short-term Kickstarts, maybe a month or something like that. This Kickstart was over how long?
This Kickstarter basically was their 2-year plan going forward. And yep, it allowed people to get things in advance that they knew they'd want, as well as their back catalog too, which is how I signed in. And yeah, this allowed them to put out, extend their campaign out to the 5th chapter. It's got 2 more to go, which will be covered in the next Kickstarter. It also allowed them to expand their world with 3 world books. And they just put out a magic book, which completely redesigns a lot of elements in Magic, giving it the flavor of their world and a lot of options for people who are interested in the world of Xayah, which is their homebrew world.
Okay. So most of the books will focus on, well, they all focus then on that world.
Right. All of Gooey Cube's things are centered in their home world of Xayah, which has its own flavor. It's a tainted world where magic is slowly destroying the world, lots of vicious monsters, which are lovingly played out in the art and handouts that are given out in every Gooey Cube product. And along the way, they've added a number of modules and adventures to continue telling the story. But the center point is still on the Red Star Rising campaign, again, which they will be finishing up with the next Kickstarter, most likely.
So a main adventure with many side adventures.
Pretty much, yes. The thing is, if you're doing this one big, long campaign and it's really involved and it's really gripping and you love playing the characters every time you get to the table, that's fantastic. If you're doing it because you're immersed in the game and you can see what your characters see and you can live out the drama and the story is really gripping, that's great. But if along the way you need to change things up again, we have a lot of side quests and things, including some things that I've written myself. Last year I got published for the first time with Gooey Cube with my Strangely Gooey Holiday Adventure, which is a fun little holiday adventure, lots of handouts, about a good 9-10 hours of gameplay.
Is that your first published overall or first published with them?
First published adventure with them. I've had a few minor things here and there, but nothing really to speak of.
So pretty exciting.
Oh, so exciting. I just kind of fell in with them, and I've loved every step of the way.
So what drew you to this one? So there's obviously lots of tabletop stuff out there, So what was the sparkle in that book?
Well, I'm a YouTuber, and I was reviewing Kickstarters. That's one of the things I do, and I saw their Kickstarter and their product price point seemed confusing because it was a little high for adventures. So I posted on a Facebook post, it's like, this seems a little off. The founder of Gooey Cube actually reached out to me and goes, no, check this out. This is wonderful. Ha ha! And he's so enthusiastic, he just sucked me in. His name is Alphinius Goo, fun guy. And we got to talking, and I backed the Kickstarter. He's amazing. And I got all this content, massive amounts of game material for what I backed. And then we talked, and we found out that we meshed really well. He's like, how would you like to write an adventure for me? Ha ha! And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. It's my dream. So he basically told me, this is my general outline. Go to work. And I did. And it's currently sitting on the table over there, the finished result of the work that I did. Along the way, I've helped in a number of other ways, including some work with their new Encyclopedia Magica and a couple of other adventures that they've done. I've edited and done some writing for. And it's really this wonderful homebrew, crowdsourced effort to make the best games that you've ever played. And it's going to be finalized with the last thing they have to do with that last Kickstarter, which is to put out the twin cities of Gloomport and Darkenhaven, which are going to be thick boxes full of content. All of your... That's a sacrifice to the beer gods, I'm sorry. All the right places. It's going to end up in the belly anyhow.
Fair enough.
But they're going to be, we believe, the best fantasy cities ever made for a game.
So
It's a pretty big claim.
Fantasy. Give me a.
We're talking high fantasy, 5th edition.
Okay.
Yep. But again, it's a little on its ear. So at one point, of course, there's a fallen empire, as there always is in these worlds. And they made amazing things like floating cities and castles and ships. And now those floating cities are turned upside down and full of monsters that are a danger to everybody.
One of those monsters is Ozzy, and if you get the reference, you know.
There we go. I've helped to design a couple of those monsters. Basically, we try to involve a lot of people with Gooey Cube stuff. So most of the things from their monster book that's coming out in the next Kickstarter and stuff, again, crowdsourced. Lots of people have been asked for their contributions. All of them getting a chance to get published, getting their works recognized. And along the way, they give you a nice print of the art. And if you do something really big, hey, you get paid. It's not a bad thing.
Did you include Florida Man?
No, we try to keep away from blatant references to the real world because it's fantasy and the real world is depressing enough.
You know it's in 5th edition, right?
Yeah, it's a 5th
Stuck
edition.
it in there.
Somebody homebrewed it. Yeah. That's what happens.
So are you from Colorado Springs then?
I'm not. I'm actually from Fond du Lac, here in Wisconsin.
Okay. So did you? How did you? Oh, you were just doing the Kickstarter and then contacted him that way.
I did my due diligence as a YouTuber, and then announced that, hey, I had some questions about it, and I immediately got contacted by Gooey Cube themselves.
So, if someone wanted to get involved with them again, or the Kickstarter's officially over right now. There's going to be a new Kickstarter, but right now it's over.
Right, the Kickstarter is done. The products that are finished are available on the Gooey Cube website, which is just gooeycube.com.
Okay.
And if you're interested in getting into the community and possibly becoming a contributor yourself, the way to do it is to go to their Facebook page, the Gooey Game Masters Den of Enlightenment, and just introduce yourself. Elphidius will probably greet you personally, and then from then on, you're in the goo. And once you are, anything's open. If you want to contribute, they have a Discord where they swap ideas and do that. There's lots of opportunities for people at Gooey Cube.
It's tough to get out of goo, but then why would you?
No, it's very comfortable once you're swimming in it. I'm up to my neck and having a great time. There's no question about it.
So we're here at GameHole Con 2022. We've been Games Guys and Beer have been at this for 9 years. This is the 10th year of this show. what are you looking forward to? We're just at the beginning, so what are you looking forward to at the con this weekend?
Well, I'm trying to run some games too. So tomorrow I'm running my game, Strangely Gooey Holiday.
Okay.
I'm also running Tales from the Loop adventure of my own design and an out-of-print game called It Came from the Late 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 Show. And then I'm going to hopefully just go up to my eyeballs in games and play and play and play and play and play because I'm a forever DM, and this is my chance to do that.
All right. Alex, you got anything?
Yes. What comprises the goo within the Gooey Cube?
Interesting. Xyathe has their own physics, and all of the individual subatomic particles of matter are actually shaped like dice. 4-siders, 8-siders, 12-siders. Yes, they are.
Nice.
Oh my God.
That's in the canon.
That's awesome.
Triangles. Oh God. Which I imagine is the most horrifying thing.
It's all part of the gamer love as it binds us and penetrates us and draws the universe together. It's a beautiful thing, really.
All right. Anything else, Dallas?
How is Gooey Cube?
Gooey, well, I've never been there. I've never been to their offices and anything like that. Again, Gooey Cube is a family. I know it's trite and you hear that all the time.
Right.
But we are all really interested in supporting each other and showing each other amazing vistas from our own imagination. And it's all backed up by the amazing art that Gooey Cube hires, all the artists they give a chance, and just all the enthusiasm we have for each other's stuff. We don't shoot each other's work down. We just
Right.
enjoy it all.
I can't speak to the headquarters of Gooey Cube, but I can recommend Colorado Springs. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I gotta go someday.
Beautiful place to be, and if you're there, why not look them up?
Absolutely. They have a location. You can walk to their offices and say hi to people. Maybe meet Elphinius Goo during office hours. I don't know. But there's some great people there, and you'll have a good time.
Nice.
Good?
Good.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
If they want to, is there a website they should go to?
GooeyCube.com is their place where you can buy all the stuff and you can look at the products, or you can go to the Gooey Game Masters web and Den of Enlightenment on Facebook.
Hey, so as it is about a voice, one more time, where are we, Larry?
We're at GameHole 2022.
I know, this is the first interview of the weekend. It is going to be a great weekend. If you're not...
But it might not be played in this order.
What's
so,
that? Because nobody can hear me if I don't turn on a mic.
Yeah, well, here
I thought it was just
These mics actually work extremely well. So, hey, we are at GameHole 2022 in Madison, Wisconsin. It's Thursday night, so if you see this before then, definitely show up. If you see it afterwards, sucks to be you. This is the premier gaming convention in Wisconsin. Definitely well worth the check out.
This is the last video that'll be posted.
That was out to you, Rob. He's kind of letting you have
He's
it.
the absolute best because I don't have to do it.
That's true. There you go. The best editor. So, don't forget to check us out. We are at GameHole Con 2022. Hopefully we'll see you guys this weekend. Later. Hi, Tom with Guys, Games, and Beer, and I'm here with...
Mel with Guys, Games, and Beer, and we're here with...
James the Geek Pearson, here to talk about PSI Kids the RPG.
Ooh, okay. So
Sounds cool.
this does...
Well, you know, I'm biased, but it is cool, yeah. So,
Oh, hey, and it is
There we
cool.
go. Yeah.
But before we talk about PSI Kids, the game, I have a Stella I'm going to crack open this morning.
Oh,
because
hell yeah.
This is Wisconsin, and we don't call it day drinking unless you start before noon.
no,
True.
and it's football season, so it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
Wisconsin, and it's
It's a homecoming weekend,
It
too.
is homecoming, and it's 9:30 in India right now, so we're all good.
All right.
We have no reason not to do this.
So let's just start with a general description. What is PSI Kids the game?
Sure. So PSI Kids is a role-playing game. It is a tabletop role-playing game. It is based on Lester Smith, the award-winning game designer's game rules, which is bookmark, no HP RPG, which fits on a bookmark or, in my case, a playing card. So the game is released on a deck of cards. For a couple of reasons we could talk about, but
I do want to discuss that.
We
Actually.
do.
Continue.
So, yeah, PSI Kids is a game. You play kids that are living about 300 years in the future. They are in a huge, sprawling space arc called Elysium. And, they're what we'd call latchkey kids. So it's a very kids on bikes game where you play these latchkey kids. We call them quarter kids because there are no streets in this spaceship. They're quarter kids, but suddenly they have developed some psionic abilities. And you'd think this would give them a leg up, but unfortunately it's also caused some problems because they now have a few organizations which we call sins that are after them. So it's a mashup between the movie Scanners. I'm really dating myself here, guys. Old stuff that influenced this. So the movie Scanners, right? Jeremy Ironside's head's exploding. And
Best ever.
And Patterson's Maximum Ride is probably the closest.
Okay.
So, we have kids that have, they're being experimented on, they're orphans. Kind of a dark, which is the dark part of the story, right? Is the dark science fiction story. You have some kids in a really bad situation. Hopefully they have a leg up and are going to explore their abilities and what's going on.
Okay, so that
was a lot. Yeah,
that was a lot,
But-
but it's a great summary of what this describes the game. Pretty darn.
Is there a goal?
Well, like all role-playing goals, role-playing games, the goal, of course, is to survive and explore.
Okay.
It's a very open-ended game. One of my influences was the early game Traveler.
Okay.
Classic Traveler, right? I think few people know that one, right?
Yeah.
So, the thing I loved about original Traveler is it was this great framework, and the original, the very early versions of the game, there wasn't a huge setting. And it was a nice skeleton that we could kind of build into. And so that's my goal with the game is give people enough structure that they can almost run any game. So the structure of Elysium, the arc, is so huge that we can play in just about any type of neighborhood. We could play a horror game. We could play a kids game. We could play, some espionage. We really have some flexibility. And that was the purpose of the game. Is here's this structure, but I'm only going to define it so far.
Okay, but now this brings up the interesting point. You said this is a card game.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work with the open-ended structure? With not your typical way to write a new set of adventure games.
Right. So let me talk about why I did it as cards. So the reason I did it as cards is I started playing this solo in this setting, I don't know, like 20 years ago. Okay. And my family went away for a vacation, so like all good gamers, what did I do when my family was away? I stayed home and played by myself. So I used Mythic GME, a Game Master's emulator, and now I use a lot of Nathan Rockwood's Game Master's Apprentice, which are both card-based game, rule systems designed to help people GM, trigger ideas, and play solo or with a group, right? So it's a solo game. You can also be played as a group.
That's very cool.
And then Lester's rules were literally on a card. So as we were playing this, Lester and Kurt and a couple of friends of mine, it just made sense to do that. To release it all in a card deck. So here it is, it's a card deck. The rules are very, very basic. And my vision is that, okay, we release the original card deck as kind of the main game, right?
Okay.
And then booster packs, kind of going on that same thing. So, I've got a couple of adventures in the crowdfunding that as we reach them, there are additional secrets revealed, a booster pack with equipment, the kinds of things that we would typically see in a supplement, but they're going to be in a card format so that you can sit and play by yourself. And, the other thing for me is, as I look around at, the guys with these big cases of stuff and games, I used to be that guy, big, elaborate.
I'm still that guy.
And so now I can literally take a game that's this big and put it in my pocket, and we can play a game at the table with, some dice, or there's card dice if you use like Game Master's Apprentice. So this I could literally go to the table and have a game with.
Okay, so let's.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple things here that I really wanted to discuss about. So it's a card-based game.
Card-based. Mm-hmm.
GM required all the time? It didn't look like it was, but...
Great question. So again, I started playing this solo using an Oracle like Mythic Game Master's emulator or Nathan's Game Master's Apprentice. But you can easily play it with your friends. As a matter of fact, that's how the crowdfunding came about, because I started running it for my friends over the course of... It was a great pickup game. It was short. It takes 2 minutes to create a character. So it just became a very great kind of pickup game. And as I played it and went through the initial scenarios with friends, they were like, this is great. So let's let's keep doing this. So that gave me a little proof of interest, and
All right.
so yeah.
So you can play it solo, or
You can play it solo. You would need some sort of other game master emulator,
right.
like Mythic
but
or
if you
GMA.
wanted to, you could actually do a solo game.
You could do a solo game, yeah, absolutely. And part of there's kind of two parts to the game. So there's the setting, the PSI Kids setting, and then there's this kind of second part of the crowdfunding, which I call the PCAL, the Playing Card Adventure Log. Okay, so again, the other part is I'm playing by myself. I have a very short attention span, right? And as I'm doing this, I'm jotting down notes and lists of NPCs and characters. And what I found was I started building these lists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here are the people that we've met. Here are the locations we've been. And as I did that, I started making with the Playing Card Adventure Log, which is a record-keeping system for any game. Very generic, right? I was able to then have these lists that I could then go back on and have random encounters. Again, influenced by our old school games where, you literally pull out a table, roll some dice and go, okay, now you meet so-and-so. Well, now we can build that as we play the game. And of course, the core deck is going to have some of those built into it, right? So there's list cards, there's note-taking cards, and character cards, map cards in the deck. So we could literally pull out a card and scribble out a little tiny map, and yeah.
Okay, that's really cool
Yeah.
too. All right, real quick, do you have the other instruction card?
I do have
Okay,
some
so
of the cards.
I'm
with me.
really
Yep.
curious to see this instruction card.
Okay, and actually, if you would grab my bag.
I will. I love this idea. So, as somebody who plays a lot of way overly complicated games, there are times when you may have been drinking a little bit.
You just wanna
A
sit down
simple
and
game is great, or something where I don't have to read through a 100-page manual to play a 15-minute game. When I've had many of those
What claims
games.
to be? Oh, we've done that. Many
Yeah,
times.
been there, done that. So I'm really curious to look at the instruction set.
Yeah, so there'll be poker-sized cards. Now, what I don't have in here today is a copy of Lesser's bookmark card.
Right.
But it is this size. It's two sides, and on one side.
So literally, it's
one
a
card.
size of a playing card.
It's the size of the playing card. So the deck, when it comes out, will have a few pages of instructions on it.
Right.
So, for example, this is the instructions are about 6 cards.
Wow.
How to create a character.
Sure.
Based on Lester's rules, and then I go on to describe life on Elysium, the syndicates, which we call sins.
I do like that. That was a very good way to shorten that.
In the catches, with all of our settings, we have to come up with some terminology, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
So syndicates was our things, and then we have faux cards, right? So the faux cards in the base deck will have the foes completely statted out again to Les's game, but very open-ended. It's a very role-playing heavy game.
Right. So there's not a ton of information on the foes. A basic description, a few basic stats, but they're not. Oh my God! It's this. So that's really nice. Oh, by the way, we're gonna talk about that.
art.
We got to talk about your art because your art looks really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there's two. So the crowdfunding goes. So the art is a mix right now of just me messing with AI. I am not an artist or a Gen Z. I do not have my mic in.
Oh, you should probably
I should-
have had your mic in your hand.
Oh man, I'm really sorry.
Oh, he
so
just did a faux pas. Hopefully we picked that all up okay, but that's
Okay.
okay. We were talking anyway.
okay.
So.
Oh, sorry. No, my bad. So so we have the
I'll do this. And you can
Okay.
put the mic down.
Thanks. So the cards are laid out with the rules, and the layout is I'll be able to take a deck, say here's the rule,
Right.
here's your playing card, sit down, or your character sheet, and then we have the kids, and I have 4 archetype kids that I designed, and I paid some guy on Fiverr to do it. He did a nice job. Stats are on the back. And part of the goal with the crowdfunding is to get a consistent artistic look. So the problem here is, we're using a mix of clip art and then some that I did have inexpensively.
Inexpensive is good.
Because originally the game was for me. It was not for anybody else.
Right,
So,
right.
So I did find a local artist. His name is Derek. He lives in Janesville with me, and we have a very similar style. He's did a couple of sketches for me, and so that's part of the goal, is let me get a consistent artistic look for the characters of the game, right?
Right. No, that makes good sense.
Yeah. The other thing I'll point out too, we talked about these random kids. So there'll be random encounter cards, and the cards use the playing card adventure log, the PCAL system. So cards have 1 to 6 on each side,
Right,
or you
right.
could take 2 or 3 cards and make a list that was 1 to 12, or maybe the list was 1 to 18 or whatever it was. But you can easily create these list of random encounters. There's a list for the psionic abilities, and that will just expand as we develop the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
PSI Kids.
PSI Kids, yes.
So let's be honest. Most of us gamers are a little bit on the older side.
Yeah. Right.
So it's not a kids game, though.
It can be, right? Again, the structure is very open-ended. I'm not putting anything in here that's not PG, so you can easily play with kids. But basically, it's a kids on bikes game. We're playing, these latchkey kids, which we call corridor kids, because there are no streets in Elysium. We're in this big arc. So the corridor kids, that come across these abilities. Again, think of, Escape to Witch Mountain, Push, even Stranger Things, all of these kids on bikes movies. So, yeah, you don't have to be a kid to play. You certainly can be. It certainly could be
So it is
kid-friendly.
kid-friendly.
Absolutely
Have you played it
kid-friendly.
with
You could make it kid-friendly.
I haven't played it with kids yet. but
Okay,
I've
well,
had a
that
couple
just says it all right now.
Yeah.
It's not a kids game at all. I know, I'm teasing.
It's that my kids are all older at this point, is really what it is.
Have they played it? Do they like it?
They have not played this, but they were the inspiration for me starting to write the games. And they gave me a challenge, and they had me, my daughter said a while back, well, you need to write a game about killer fish.
Okay.
All right, Donna, what about killer fish? And so I said, well, write me something, give me 3 cues here, a location, whatever. And she came up with that, and I published a game with maps and everything called Killer Fish.
Okay.
And that was the challenge. And then my other daughter said, well, I want Scarlett Johansson kicks ghost asses. Okay, so tell me about that. So we came up with the ectoplasmic coven, where you are a ghost hunting, magical witch coven, hunting and keeping the bad guys out. So we're Scarlett Johansson.
All right.
So that's kind of how
The
this started.
fantasy stats in your house are high.
Yes.
That's
So
awesome.
my kids just kind of kept feeding me these games, and so they're very supportive. But no, they have not played this one yet. This one is kind of new, and like I say, it was always kind of my solo game up until recently, and then my friends were like, hey, let's do this.
Well, okay. So we've talked now about that, and again, I love the card structure of it. I really do that. It's like you. It's like just hauling stuff around nowadays.
Yeah.
It gets harder and harder to do. It's like, oh man, we're gonna bring.
Or to have a game that you can play by yourself.
Yep.
That's not on the computer.
Yes,
we
thank
all
you.
sit on the computer.
Oh yeah, all day
way
long,
too
right?
much.
Yeah. So
That's
that is really
fantastic.
cool. All right. So right now, before we go any further, I want you to shout out where. So you did something interesting funding wise.
Yeah.
So let's start by where can people find if they're interested in funding this game?
Sure. If they're interested in funding the game, you can go to PSI Kids RPG, PSIKIDS RPG.com, PSI Kids RPG, Psionic Kids. And that'll bring you to the crowdfunding site. And of course, after it's funded, that'll go somewhere else.
Now, you opted not to do a Kickstarter on this.
I did not do a Kickstarter. So, which, it raises, I don't know if it raises flags, but it brings it to people's
I don't think it
attention.
raises flags.
Well,
why did you make that
something.
choice?
Some
Yeah,
users get a little bit weird about that. They like the established platforms.
Absolutely.
So,
Why did you make that choice?
Yeah, it's a great question. So a couple of things. First of all, I was not planning on doing this, right? Literally 6 weeks ago, my friends, we were playing, they're like, oh, James, you just got to publish this. Lester was publishing another version of the rules. So we had some inertia going on, and he just said, let's you should do this. We'll help you out. And I said, well, great. I have a couple of requirements. A, it's got to be really low stress, and it's got to be something. This is my first crowd fund. I got a lot going on, and I was very anxious about it. And I had not done a crowdfunding before, just because, as I go to seminars and things, everybody kind of talks about the same challenges. publishing, printing, Kickstarter, this, that, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of challenges. So here's what I did: is I went and I said, what's the platform that, and how can I do this in the least stressful, anxiety-ridden way for me? Okay. So I set a very low, reasonable funding goal. Let me get my kids illustrated, and it can continue to be, at the very least, a print and play game, which is what it is now, especially with the PCAL, the adventure log.
Perfect.
Because you want to print that out over and over again, right?
Yeah.
So it is a print and play game right now.
Perfect.
Right.
We've now reached the funding goal that says, okay, all 10 of my characters are done, so now it makes sense to be able to print it and have it as a physical thing that I can give away. Okay, so that's a long way of saying, when I looked at the different platforms, Game On had a very interesting approach in that everything was built in from start to finish, to digital delivery, to the store, to shipping. I mean, it was all in one.
One-stop shop.
Yep. So the crowdfunding, the pledge manager, all of that was in there.
Yeah.
And it was a nicely designed platform.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't, again, I had a week to make this decision, and I said, this seems like the platform. The folks were very, very nice. They were very helpful. They were really, they're really just great people.
He's selling you guys well.
They really are.
I hope you guys are gonna
So
give
hey,
him a
everybody
shout
over
out.
at Game On Tabletop,
He just gave you a
you're
great
doing a really
shout
great
out.
job, and I'd love to see this platform go, because it's really, as they say, gamer. It's made by gamers for gamers,
Right.
and they really thought about it. So for me, I was able to instantly post updates, which is a nice feature. So as things get unlocked, I have the ability to have pre-planned updates.
Oh,
okay. So I don't,
That's nice.
So I don't have to be there to watch it, right? If it happens now. By the way, there's only $5 left at the next level. So if you pledge now, then the emails go out, and so a little less attention. And then the other part was just that I could kind of do all of it in one platform and sit back, and it was very nice. Then lastly, we decided that if we get the print on demand goal, if I reach that point where I can say, okay, now it makes sense to do it, do a print on demand or a physical product.
Yeah.
The catch is backers will get a code to do that, and they're going to pay their own shipping and a very nominal cost
That's actually
for
nice, because you know how
the
many people
product.
get screwed on shipping.
And that's exactly why, as
I
a
cannot
small
tell
guy,
you how many small guys I've
Yeah.
heard talk about. Oh, I got this game, and shipping went up 30%,
Exactly.
40%, and not only did they get all their profit, and there's not much
Right.
profit.
oh,
in
there's
this,
not
guys.
no this
They got-
this is
they
let's
ended
get
up
some artwork
paying
done
money out of their pockets
Just
to
for
fill
the
their
project.
orders.
Yep. So being my first time out, that was just I had to make sure that really didn't happen.
Okay,
So
no,
so
that's
it's digital delivery, 90% of it. We've now reached the funding goal where it makes sense for me to find a print on demand
All right.
source. It's a little tricky because the PCAL has to be writable, right? And
Ooh, yeah.
when you think about cards, most playing card manufacturers, even the guys in the gaming industry, have a finish that doesn't allow you to easily write on a card, right?
Yeah.
So I fortunately,
I mean,
by accident,
Obviously, you can hack that, but
we can hack that, but we want it to be easy and,
Right.
and
Yeah.
accessible, and I have now found with a local printer, my promo cards actually you can write on.
Go local.
So
Like
yeah,
local.
go local,
With a dry
right?
erase or
I
crayon?
use friction pens, but I've tried it with pen, pencil, and then I like the Pilot friction pens because they're truly erasable.
Yeah.
And so those work really great
Very
on that.
cool.
So I think we're gonna get to that point.
Pro
and
tip,
that's gonna be
kids:
good.
friction pen when you're
Friction
playing this
pens,
game.
yeah, or any game because they're erasable,
Yeah, no, that is
Yeah,
really
they
good.
really are.
That
That's
is a
a
pro
right.
tip. All right.
So yeah.
I want you one more time to shout out where people can find
All
us.
right, it's PsyKidsRPG.com, hashtag PsyKidsRPG, and it goes until October 31st, 2022 at 11:59
Now,
p.m.
he says that. but-
Midnight
so-
on Halloween.
Yes, and also we're talking about game developers. You set a realistic goal, and he set that goal and then smashed it in 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
Wow.
that's
Damn.
but that's why you set a realistic goal.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and here's the thing: as the first one, you want to get some interest,
Yeah.
and okay, so I had some interest, and we don't need a lot of people to get the goal. I mean, we're talking 20 or 30 backers. So it again, as I sit through a lot of the seminars here are really great.
Oh, yeah.
But you're talking about people that need to make a huge amount of money to fund their goal, to fund their project.
Yeah.
And hey, that would be fabulous. But the way it's structured right now, we're going to get a nice game out of it, and
I love
and
the way
people
you
are going to
structured
like it.
this. And
Yeah.
again, kind of, this looks like it's going to be a really cool piece of kit.
Yeah.
So, again, one more time, we're talking about PSI Kids, the game.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah.
Again,
Really old. Yeah.
really old. Old as
Man,
damn
I'm slacking
dirt.
here.
So you've kind of touched on all my childhood memories with this one. Nice job on that, by the way. So if you're gonna sell a game, sell it with childhood memories.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We were bike kids.
Yeah, we were.
Right?
You said bike kid, and it was like, oh.
Yeah. And obviously that's a trend in our industry now, the kids on bikes themes. But that has been around. I don't know if you guys remember. Yeah, Latchkey Kids. We were all probably Latchkey Kids.
My mom worked. I let myself in and out.
Exactly. Yeah. And
You want lunch? There's the
there it is. Yeah.
You literally hit like everything with that one.
Yeah.
So,
And you remember Escape
basically,
from Witch
you need a
Mountain?
card
Not
with
the
him on
new
it.
Escape from Witch Mountain.
No.
The
I'm
original
talking
Escape
the
from
old
Witch
Disney
Mountain,
stuff,
yeah.
right?
The original Disney one. Thank you.
You need to develop us a kid with him on it.
With him on it? Well, there was a pledge level where I did that. I had 5 pledge levels, and those 5 people will be part of the game. Yeah, you missed that. Yeah, sorry.
That's we've been in other games. I'm good with that. But
Yeah.
next time.
So it's.
Is there anything else you want to say about the game?
Take a look. It's the playing card adventure log is kind of a hidden gem here. It really is. It's a method to track your games. It's obviously PSI Kids oriented, but it will have a generic version eventually. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And that's my goal. And again, it's just
like
an easy way. Yeah.
I like organized things. So that sounds like something that I would love.
And the other cool thing about the cards is it's going to be modular, right?
Right.
So as I do this, you'll get there'll be some rules and verbiage in it, but then you're going to have the archetype cards, you're going to have NPC cards, you're going to have character cards. So literally. Here it is. Grab some dice and let's play the game.
Nice.
And after that, you can pull those things out and kind of build your own deck of here's an NPC and here's a player and here's a location.
Right.
So kind of a built-in adventure generator. So yeah.
Maximum players?
Doesn't matter. It's a role-playing game.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't matter. Whatever you can handle.
Is there an ideal minimum?
I've played it with 1. I've played it with 2 and 3. So our playtest group right now, with Lester Smith and a friend Kurt and I, are 3 people that we're playing with. But yeah, it's very
all right. So it's open-ended. I mean, unlike an adventure game, do you just wrap this up in one session? Do you play multiple sessions, or can you kind of just whatever you want?
Absolutely, very easy to do a campaign, right?
Okay. All
Because
right. So
again, Elysium is so huge and it's so generic enough that my goal, and there are some secrets, so that's the other part of the game is discovering secrets. Why do these kids all of a sudden, only between the ages of 9 and 18, have psionic powers?
Right.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Why are organizations, including this mysterious dark ones, because they all dress all in these dark suits? Why do those guys? Why are they after the kids? And then why has this ark been in space for 300 years and not found a new homeworld? So there's some the default setting. Default setting definitely has some secrets, and so part of the game for me is finding out the secrets. Why and what's happening, and why are they after us, and then of course survival. So
all right.
So yeah.
Okay. So one more time, guys.
All right.
We got. Where can they find this game?
They can find it on PsyKidsRPG.com.
See the links below.
Yes.
Okay, because we will link the crap out of
post
this.
My
everything.
very occasional blog is jamesthegeek.com.
All right.
Okay.
And feel free to look me up on Facebook, James Pearson.
Okay.
Track me down.
We will follow you.
I'm around.
Sounds
Not
good.
a problem.
Thanks.
We are at GameHole 2022. We are talking about PSI Kids the game. You'll watch this and lots more interviews on this show. Let's say goodbye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Guys, Games, and Beer.